What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fierster, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Authors Quill. I hope everyone is having a great Saturday. Down here where I live, it is absolutely beautiful, 69 degrees, sunny, soft wind coming off the Gulf of America.
That's better.
Get myself in trouble here.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. I've been living here a long time. It's going to take a little while to get used to the other name. But anyway, we're there. But I want to welcome everyone to the Authors Quill. I know we went 100. Another time and I talked about this 100 countries. I always want to say 140 time zones. I don't know what that little Freudian thing is stuck in my head, but we're in every time zone, actually, ladies and gentlemen. There's no time zones that we don't broadcast in. So
all 146 time zones, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we got it straight now. But all the time zones in the world, you can catch it. Doesn't matter what time zone you live in. Bottom or top, or you can even get us into Antarctica as long as you got internet. So, it's wherever you want to listen to us from. That's up to you. A lot of people like to listen in their car, on their phone, driving down the highway. It's not good to listen to some of these shows while you're driving, though. This one, yes, you could listen to this show. It's nice and calm and peaceful. We have lovely guests like Joni with us, who's very intelligent. But some of these other shows, it's just you might want to be parked when you listen to them because they can be shocking. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway, Joni, welcome to the show. How are you? What do you mean, who's the guy up in the corner? Wait, Carly, are you a regular listener to this show? Really? And you don't know who John is? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. John's here every week. And there was one week we had somebody cuter than John here, but still, John's here every week. Yes, I don't. Anyway, enough about all that. We ain't got time to mess with that. Write to us when you got something real to say. So y'all know that's John Goodwin, president of Galaxy Press. This is Miss Joni down here. She's the big boss lady. Even I'm scared of her, people. I'm like, yes, ma'am. I mean, how often y'all hear me say yes, ma'am? Anyway, I apologize. I'm in one of them moods. I didn't get to bed till 4:00 this morning, so that was John's fault. He kept texting
always
me.
go to bed at 4:00 in the morning on Friday.
Well, if you wouldn't be texting me all night, I'd be able to sleep. No,
stop answering.
I know. I was talking about you texting me. I wasn't talking about the rest of these ones. No, we have this thing going on. Jay is pregnant with an alien baby, so don't ask. It's just.
Yeah, let's just go back to where you're last doing well when you're introducing Joni.
I can't.
Well, Joni's the contest director for Writers and Illustrators of the Future, and she's here to share the excitement and buildup that's going on now, getting ready for our upcoming gala on the 10th of April here in Hollywood.
That's right.
It's funny. It's funny, Miss Joni. I have not talked to any guest that your name didn't come up. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times at least. Why is that? I mean, can you tell me why that is?
I'll tell you why that is. Just because I've been in touch with these people for as long as they've been entering the contests. And some of those people, that's years, you know.
I know.
So, you know, I'm sending them notices when they, you know, when they succeed, as far as like getting a honorable mention when they submit to the contest. Because see, it's a quarterly contest, so 4 times a year somebody can enter. So we have some people that have enter every single quarter. I know a few guys that have entered every single quarter for the last 10 years. Yeah. There are people there, and that's a good thing because they're tenacious. They want it, and they're continuing to grow as writers. They start out, they don't get any kind of a recognition from us, and then they jump up to honorable mention. Then they'll jump up to, you know, the next level after that, and it just goes on. But that's why these people are talking about me, only because I've been in touch with them for long, you know. And I'm the one that I have the pleasure of notifying the winners.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun when, especially, you know, it's really something very close to my heart is encouraging people. I love doing that. I love, you know, especially a creative. Oh my gosh, that's key. Getting creatives acknowledged is very, very important. Something that L. Ron Hubbard completely believed in, which is why we're here. And hey, that's what it's all about. And so these guys, that's why they're mentioning me, to answer the question.
Well, you know, they also, when I ask them things like, well, how did you feel when you seen Joni's name on your thing? And they're like, wait, what? I'm telling you, girl, you need to listen to some of these answers are priceless. Was it last week? They were like, she was like, I kind of lost my breath. And then I'm like, oh no, she's just telling me I didn't win or something. And then I'm like, should I actually listen? I was laughing. I couldn't. It was really, really funny. Kind of sad, kind of scary, but kind of funny. I said, well, what happened when you? I said, obviously you won because you're here on the show with us. But just so many of these different answers that they tell you when they, you know, if they catch you, if you happen to catch them live, or if you leave a voicemail or something like that, and they're just the reactions are just priceless. It's great. It's great to hear too.
I've got some real fun ones. Like one time I'll remember. This is years ago. I called a guy, and when he answered his cell phone, he was whispering, and he goes, "Hold on a second." So then I hear this pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, and he goes outside, and he goes, "I was in a library," and he knew that he was a finalist, and so this was the call, and he knew it was the call. So then I told him, "Well, congratulations, you're the, you know, whatever place winner," and he started screaming. And that's why he went out of the library, because he was like, wanted to be prepared.
Good. Good thing you went out the librry. I mean, those are going to be fun calls. I mean, I know, because I know, you know, you give them their first call. We were talking about it, and we were talking about the process and stuff, and it is crazy though how each person reacts differently though. It really is.
I do. You know, some people are just like, oh my God, you know, and you know, I also have to do the call to the guy that didn't win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, I also get very interesting reactions that way too. Some people are like, I'm just honored to be. And one guy, this is a fun story too. One guy, he was a finalist, and he didn't win. And I told him, I said, okay, you know, keep it. The next quarter he entered, he got he didn't win at all. Like, he didn't even get an honorable mention, like nothing. And then that person was like, oh, that's it, man, I give up. I said, don't you dare, not allowed. The next quarter, he was the first place winner.
So you got to keep plugging away.
I've
talked to a lot of them.
So that's what I do. That's what I do when they're telling me, you know, I said, look, you didn't win, but oh my God, to be a finalist in this contest. I mean, I'd like to tell your listeners, and maybe there's people that are entering that are listening right now. I hope, or if not, I hope you do. But I've literally had famous writers in other fields enter this contest and not win. You know, it's its own. Short stories are an art form, right? There's different writing that have different art forms about them. So you're not necessarily it's not a shoe-in necessarily, you know what I mean, to win, because it's many elements to win this contest. Is your story original? Are there not 18 other stories that had the same basic, plot line. That's important. So being original is just super key. It's super key. And then, of course, having your writing basics in completely and utterly. Like, somebody whose grammar is horrible, they just need to work on the grammar.
See, that's why I can't write a book.
They need to start working on that grammar first, and then they can submit a story, because the judges don't, they'll know in a flash.
Oh, yeah, I bet you they will. God, see, grammar. I forgot what grammar was when I was in my 30s. It's,
I'll be back in 2 minutes. I got to take a phone call that just came in
good.
right now. Okay.
But and I'm way older than that now, so I'm kind of like, because the biggest bitch I get from any of my friends is, Joe, you don't know what a period is. I said, what do you mean? Just you can't just do one continuous sentence. I said, well, I would think you'd be smart enough to know what I was talking about. So now instead of doing period, I leave a space when I think about it. I said, now you see, at least you know where I'm starting and stopping at. I can never write anything like that. I don't even know how to do it, but it is fun to talk to the guests because, I've talked to a few that's taken 14, 15 times to get in. Of course, there was Preston, who's a host on our network. He was 46, I think he said, 46 times before he got in. And
oh yeah, right. Preston did it.
Yeah, no, Carolyn, it's not 46 years. It's 40. You can submit 4 times a year.
4 times a year. 46 entries. That's correct. And that's I think a record. I think that's still the record. We had a couple people that did a little bit more, but I'm telling you, it's like, and you know what? It's different for every person. And I don't push somebody to enter every single quarter just to throw something in. I don't do that. I go, look, you have a pace. Whatever that pace is, you do that. If you can only write 2 stories a year, good. Submit twice a year. A lot of people can submit every quarter, and a lot of people do. But some people are like, nope, I can only do it once a year. And I'm telling you something. Here's an example. Tim Powers, one of my favorite judges. You know Tim, right?
Yeah, I know Tim. Tim's great.
Oh, Tim's amazing. That guy, I could go on for days on stories with Tim. He's just so brilliant. In fact, I've talked, there are 2 very famous writers who told me personally that Tim Powers is a flat out genius. And in other words, they are in awe of him. Do you know what I mean? And they're super, like Dean Koontz. Dean Koontz.
Oh, Dean's good.
Dean Koontz wrote years, Tim Powers. Algis Budrys, Algis Budrys is a super famous writer, but more famous as an editor, because he's the guy that discovered Stephen King.
Shame on him. We should slap him.
Editor that literally discovered Stephen King. And Al just also told me Tim Powers is a flat out genius. And Tim, if Tim was entering this contest, he'd enter once a year because he takes forever to write a story. But hey, that's okay. It's totally fine. That's his pace. That's what he's most comfortable with. Great. You know what I'm saying?
It's strange. It's strange to see how these authors write. I mean, they all have different paces, different things. I know a friend of mine, Nick Redfern, he does a book a week. He works 9 to 5. He gets up, he does it like a job, 9 to 5, goes in the studio. Nobody can bother him, 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And he just writes away. And I'm like, dude. And he writes in such a wide range of topics that it's kind of crazy. But, some of them make it, some of them don't. I think it's 190 books or 210 books, something like that now.
That's crazy.
Some of them are really successful. Some of them, you're kind of like, why you made me read that? I told him one day, I said, stop sending me books to read before the show. I'm not reading anymore. It's not going to happen. Just stop it.
Right. I have a quick question for you. So that just reminded me of something. And that is, what do you think makes our event so special? Our live broadcast, of the actual awards ceremony.
Well, yeah, because it's the award ceremony itself is just like any professional gala that I've ever attended. And I've attended quite a few over the years, and it's very well done. It's very professional. It's very well put together. It's really nice that all the press there is friendly. There's no hostility I think that the big part of it too is the whole entire event. There's just no hostility there. I don't know how else to put it. A lot of times you go to other events, there's aggravation between the contestants or the judges. Or right. Like everybody here gets along, and they play off each other really well. And they really do. Hanging out with the judges now for this will be a 6th time there, or sixth group, fifth time, but regardless, they're easy to deal with. They play off each other really well.
Yeah.
If they don't like each other, do like each other, you don't really know, because they do a good job with there, and they're really. And I always tell the new people this, the new winners. I said, look, I said they're there for you. They come there for you. I said they don't have to do this. They got other things in their life they can do. These are famous authors, famous illustrators. They don't have to be here. I said they actually come here for you, and they want to talk to you. I said, so when you're, like if you're out in the lobby, or lobby con, bar con, whatever you want to call it, I said, they're very approachable. And I always tell them the same thing. I said, if you get nervous, because some of them are pretty big names, I said, just grab me by the shirt and I'll walk you over and introduce you. Really? I said, yeah, no, that's not even a problem. I said, I have no problem.
That's really appreciated, because that is true. I mean, you'll get shy people that are like, oh no, I can't walk up to him. Oh my God, I'll be a blubbering idiot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the first time I went, there was 3 of them following me around at the bar. You kept bugging me about different like stages of business, whether it's an S Corp or C Corp or whatever. So I seen Dean. I said, Dean knows more about this than I do. I said, he owns a big corporation these days. I said, I don't get me wrong. I got 2 to 3 different businesses going at that time. I said, but not as big as he's got. I said, I would tell y'all the same thing. You don't really need anything until you get to a point where you can actually do harm to yourself, and then you can do limited liability. But I said, it's all about the money. And then Dean just took over from there and spent, there was like 9 people there with us. And he just spent the rest of the evening, probably a good 3 hours, just broke it down for them all together. And then when done, I said, did y'all learn anything? And they're like, yeah, man. I said, yeah, you had to go to accounting school to learn what you just learned here for free.
That's correct. I know. You know what? I have that same conversation with the winners every time before they come.
Yeah,
before they come to the event.
But the event is great.
Yeah. You know what I love about it? My favorite part of the event is the fact that we don't tell these people what to say.
Yeah, that's a big plus.
This is not a staged. I mean, obviously, when I go up on the stage, oh yeah, I'm reading a script. You betcha. Of course.
Well, yeah, y'all have to though. You should be. Y'all the presenters of the event, so you should be. But that's different. But the winners know it's so funny because I always ask them. I said, did you write a second speech in case you won the big prize, ladies and gentlemen? So they don't know who wins the big prize until the event, the night of the gala. Right. Everybody's already won whatever places they won, but. Yeah. The top winners, the ones who won first place in each category, this is when they find out who won the big event. So nobody knows. So they're writing their little acceptance speech, whatever they won. And then they get up there and then, a little while later, they call them. It's that, some of them are really good off the cuff, off the foot. Some of them did really well. Some of them are like, you could just see it in their eyes. Don't make me stab you much longer. I'm not gonna make
yeah. And we also we go over that with them. We've had super shy people, and they were like, "I'm going to be so nervous. I'm going to be shaking." Well, just walk up and say thank you and leave. I mean, nobody's going to force you to do anything, and that's what
everybody
I love.
Did good. I mean, every all the years I've been there, everybody did. They did a good little talk. They got up there and said their thing, whether it was 2 minutes or 5 minutes. They did really well. Some were much more eloquent speakers, but still. Everybody performed. Nobody fell on their face or got really scared or passed out. Every time I say that around Emily, she wants to hit me. No one's tripped on it. I should not say that. I learned knock a wood back here. But no, I mean, everybody seems to be very paying attention. To, again, when it comes to the event itself, it's just such a warm feeling when you're there. It's not a. Well, it's hard to explain. I mean, we all know it's an event because it's a gala event and you're giving away prizes and money and people who have won get to come show off, that they won. But everybody's way more relaxed. It just seems to be, even the families are there because, I've been able to talk to several families in the last 4 or 5 years. And even they feel, even though everybody's kind of a little nervous, they all still feel, I guess maybe the best way to say it is they feel welcome. So that makes it easier. It makes it easier when you're doing stuff, getting on stages and things like that, or you're just hanging out with people you don't know. It just makes it easier.
Sure.
And I think too the fact that the winners get to spend a week together before they get up on the stage. I think that helps too. They kind of all get to know each other, and it's. I don't know how to explain it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very professional event, and the whole thing is very professional. So I don't want to give anybody the wrong idea, but still at the same time, it's kind of shit, how can I say this without getting in trouble? PG-13 maybe. It's It's like a Disney. I'm gonna think about this so I can put this in real perspective words. But you get a real sense of just nice, happy, warm people. I mean, nobody, except for y'all scare me a little bit because everybody's so nice. But other than that, no, Dean, I'm telling you, man, they scare me all the time. I'm just waiting for somebody to come out the class with the axe. I can just see it coming. It's everybody I've met. I can only speak for the people I've met, which is a bunch of the people who work over there, are really nice people. They don't have to be nice to me. I'm there as press. I said, but they're always go out of their way to be very nice to everybody who's there, everybody who's working, everybody who's presenting, everybody who's won, all the judges, and you can tell because the judges the whole entire time, whether it's illustrators or authors, are happy, cutting up, being goofy. You can tell there's that family vibe right there because when they're all together, there's no pretenses. It's
Right.
I don't know how. All I can tell you, and I say this every time we bring this up, is win, and you can find that.
That's right.
Or donate $1 million to John. We've talked about that. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you people. Get in there and win. But also, no, this is the one. Oh no, if you got to suck up to somebody, it's this woman we're talking to right here. Oh no, this is you got to know her, and then if you're a writer, you got to know Joni. Sorry, not Joni. Them two you got to impress. If not, I don't know. If you don't do that, y'all are just sad.
Right.
So.
But just the other thing that what people have to understand, one of the reasons that makes this contest so popular is the fact that people know that they're entering anonymously. So it's not who you know, who you married, who you paid off, any of that other crap. I have these people that send in, and the first page of like their kind of cover page is like, I have a PhD and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter.
You don't care.
Well, is that story good? That's what we care about. We don't care who you are, where you're from. We don't care anything except, is that story rocking? Is it a very good, unique, out of the box, well written, good hook, all the things a good story needs? Does it have it or not?
Yes. Well, no, Quinn, it's blind judge. I've been there. I know for a fact it's blind judge. I've talked to the judges myself.
Yeah.
And not once. I've harassed the judges many times. I've given them many times to change their mind. And so far, no, it's strange the way it works. But the judges themselves, the judges who make the final decisions, not the coordinating judges, but the judges who make the final decisions, they don't know anything. Literally, they get a number.
Here's the other thing. Some people don't realize this, and I tell the winners all the time. The judges aren't conferring with each other either when they're judging.
No.
Not at all. It's like they don't even. The judges, when they're judging, they have no idea who I've chosen. There's 4 judges each quarter that do the final judging, and they don't even know. They don't even ask me because they know I'm not going to tell them.
Man, that's a waste of time. No, don't ask her nothing. She's not giving.
They're giving their opinion. So there you go.
I don't know. It's a good group of judges. I mean, everybody over there I've met does a good job. All the people who are over there, for the week doing the classes, all did a good job. But Denise, I say classes. I guess it is really a class because they work your hiney off while you're there.
Well, yeah. I mean, we get these guys, we get these judges in, and as I explained to the winners, I go, look, let's say you met just one of these judges at a con. Maybe you'll get 4 minutes with them. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. You're lucky. But I said, look, we come here to mentor you with just 11 other people. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. This is
private class is what this is. I tell people that all the time. I said, you'd have to spend big money with this particular group of good judges just to spend a whole week with them at your beck and call. So that's just not something that really happens. It's not.
That's right.
If you want this, get in there and win. I said, think about it. You don't even have to win first place. You can even win 4th place and still get in there. 3rd place. Sorry, I'm adding an extra place. I'm trying to add some people in here. I'm gonna get in trouble for sure. That would be an extra 8 people a year, wouldn't it? It's crazy enough the way it is. Really, I mean, you're going to sit in there in front of these judges, and you can ask anything when you ask. They have their agendas, their classes they're going to teach for the day, but you can ask anything you anything.
That's right.
I have learned more. But let me tell you, I knew nothing about authors or illustrators other than a couple of hundred I've interviewed over the years, but nothing of how it really actually works. And
Right.
I'm like, now I'm actually understand. And I told this to John just the other day. I said, I know too much of y'all's terminology now. I said I was somewhere, I was Tulane or somewhere doing a lecture, and I was listening to these guys talking. He's like, you know what we're talking about? I said, yeah, unfortunately I do. And the guy looked at me like, what? I said, yeah. I said, I done geeked out with the wrong geeky people. And then I told them all about you, of course. And they were like, really? I'm like, yeah, you should join. I said, go to writersofthefuture.com and submit something. Maybe you'll win. I said, hey, it's free money. It's a free trip to LA, too, since none of these guys had ever been out there. No, it is a free. No, they fly you out there. I don't know why they fly you out there. I'd say, okay, you did okay. Let me send you $50. All right. That's it. See, I should be glad these guys are doing it. If you get out there, the gala event, is a great event. But there's so much other stuff going on before that. There's lots of different things. There's different aspects to it, what the daily events are. Jonathan, make sure you're well taken care of. And they're going to work y'all hard, but I can tell you this now. From whatever time it is, 8 to 6, and then whatever goes on in the evenings, they're going to work you hard. But just know this. These two have already been up 2 or 3 hours before y'all even got started and won't be going to bed till 2 or 3 hours after y'all are tucked away nice and comfortably. And trust me, I know, because I'm the same way. Usually I'll wrap up my nights around 2 or 3 in the morning over there. And then I like to get up for breakfast around 8. I like to be eating waffles at 8. They had good waffles at that hotel. What can I say, Peter? They had good waffles there. Waffles and orange juice. That's all I need. I'm good to go for the next, 6 hours until somebody drags me off to lunch. No, Joni is but Joni and is I hate to say she's the woman you have to impress, but really she is. It's her and there's a couple other people. There's a couple of key people. If you're going to win, you need to impress. And I've said this
Just
a million
to clarify
times.
one thing here, Joe's like Joni, myself, Emily, any of the people with the administration side have no idea about the stories being judged. It's all Joni makes sure that when it gets to the readers, that all they're seeing is the story and a number. If the person has their name on the story or any identifying mark other than the title of the story, they're automatically disqualified. So it doesn't matter how much you attached to the document to Joni with here's your extra $100 here to get.
You bet we spend more than $100, people.
Which has never happened, by the way.
No.
Because I think people know better.
Yeah,
at least
people will try to impress with their credentials and stuff. The only credential we want is, can you write a good story, or can you create 3 great illustrations? That's the only credentials we're interested in.
Yep.
And none of them marijuana brownies either. Shame on you people.
And what?
Somebody said I'll just send her some marijuana laced brownies and she'll pick me. She don't. Anyway,
you're guaranteed on the blacklist that way if we had one.
That's not the way it works. But I'm gonna say this like I always do. If you're an author, just have a hook in the beginning. Don't go 10, 15 pages in. You're not going to get in. I'm just being nice and telling y'all this. See, they don't have to, but I'm going to be nice and tell y'all that, I would say maybe, how can I say this politely? I'd say like in the first 3 to 5 pages, you better have something that just makes them think, okay, this is worth going beyond this. Because you have to remember, there's a lot of people submitting. If they have to sit there and read every individual book from top to, that's a lot of on stuff that
actually the first 2 pages.
Huh? See, I was telling y'all wrong. It's
not even 5. It's the first 2 pages. You got to get them. Bam.
You got to get hooked.
I mean, yeah. I can think of like one of my favorite hooks of all time is L. Ron Hubbard's, Battlefield Earth hook. Oh my God. The first sentence. Man, Carol said, is an endangered species. I mean, hello. Is that like the hook of the ages or what?
It's what you got to have. If you're gonna get in there and win, or at least get a chance at the big money, you're gonna have to have something that grabs them.
Yeah.
Who, me, Carl? No, I got. Look, first this year we're having a stickman contest. So you didn't know that? Yeah. So John and I got together with some other famous people, and we're gonna have a stickman contest because some of us can't draw. I'm just saying, some of our artist
join.
ability is
I'll join.
less than Johnny's. I would get into.
I'm really good at stick people. I'm
Yes.
so good at stick people.
Wait, who's invite who? No, we're not invite Echo. Echo can actually draw. What the
No.
hell? Oh, because you were watching her before the show. Okay, no, I just wonder why you brought her name up. That's all. I forget sometimes she's on before us, unless she leaves crazy artwork up on my page, and then I know it's her. She's got some great stuff, by the way. She posts something new every week on her
Yeah.
for her banners. It's really nice stuff.
Quite
Some
talented,
of it's
yeah.
crazy too. Yeah, she's. That's if you're an artiste. You know, you're an artist. Yes, you're illustrator. That's who you got to impress is Echo Turner. It's,
Yeah, right.
you know what, guys? Here's just a cheat for y'all that you're not going to get anywhere else. You can come watch her on Saturdays and get an idea, and then at least when you submit, you got a better chance. No, she doesn't decide who wins. No, that's not how that works. But
Yeah, she picks the finalists, and then other judges pick the winners. That's how that works. Echo does choose. She chooses the finalists, and then 4 judges select the actual winners. That's how that works.
Yeah, then some judges get some pictures and go, "What the hell is this? What?" I don't know how they do it. I honestly, it drives me crazy. But I'd be like, "How much? Okay, yeah, let's rack this up."
If you knew, you'd be able to do it easy.
No, y'all do a great job. I mean, I give y'all trouble all the time, but y'all do a fabulous job. And really and truly, I was being honest when I say y'all really are up before and after all the rest of these have gone to bed with other stuff going on. No, they all work hard, all but that Maliva girl. She doesn't, but the rest of them do, man.
Joe, you're just awful.
Oh, did I say that out loud? Shucks, I didn't realize I did that. No, I got to get her warmed up before I get up there because she's violent. She's like, actually, no, Jenny, she's a really good, nice person.
Of course she is. Yeah.
I like to give her trouble because she's always taking pictures every time I see her.
Well, there you go. Okay.
And that's not even her job. That's just what she likes to do. She's like,
no, that's her job at the event. That's what she does.
I know, but I know she does a lot of other stuff too.
Well, yeah, of course.
But she's a lot of fun to hang out with and harass.
Yes.
Again, guys, you got to win. That's the only way you're going to get in there. I don't know how else to tell you.
We should definitely do a plug on when the event is and where people can watch it.
Yes, and actually going to be able to watch. There's going to be a lot of stuff you're going to be able to watch. But so I got to see it. So we know the gala's on the Thursday,
April
right?
April 10th.
April 10th.
Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and it's going to be at writersofthefuture.com. But you're also going to be putting it on to.
So it's going to cross. It's going to be on Roku television, and it's going to be on Fire Stick television as well this year. So you'll be able to watch it on both of those. And then, of course, we have two Rumble channels, and Michelle might carry a third, so there might actually be 3 on Rumble. And then, of course, YouTube and Facebook and wherever else all those other links go. But if you're a radio listener, which you're missing out a big chunk of the event, but you can hear it on radio, which over 1 million people listen to it every year on radio. It will be on all the 200 servers that United Public Radio owns, so you'll be able to catch it on all of our radio servers as well. But if you want to watch it, because it's a really spectacular event, everybody is well dressed. You get to see John in a tux, man. I mean, he looking snazzy. All the women in nice gowns, you know.
Joe's going to be all snazzed out too.
Yeah, I get all prettied up too. It's whatever, John. Bite me, not you, John. The other John. You see, almost got me in trouble. No, it's a great event. You'll really enjoy watching it. It's a shame you're not there because the food's pretty good and the company's pretty nice. And for me, you know, they do the event, but before and after the event, I'm lucky because I get to mill around with everybody, but I also get to mill around with the families, which is just such a different opportunity because I've done a lot of events over the years. There's a lot of winners. You get to talk to the winners and whoever their friends are, but family is a little bit different. And these people are very open. Matter of fact, Tom was with me year before last, and Echo's daughter was with us, and they were just surprised how willing these people were just to chit chat and talk with us. And I was like, hey, they're proud of their kid. Their kid's here. And, you know, and I say kid, and when I'm saying kid, some of these kids are 35, 40 years old. So,
right.
Oh, it's all ages. Since I've been there, I've seen them as young as 16 as high as 70, I believe.
That's right. That's right.
So it don't matter where you're from, as far as I know, as long as you get a passport, and it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what sex you are, because nobody knows that. I don't. It's none of that really matters. All that matters is that you're either a good artist or a good author.
That's
Either
right.
a good illustrator or author. That's all that really matters.
I have
And
one
now
guy
what?
that I do a radio show with in South Africa, and I sent him a letter. He's trying to get a visa. He's flying himself over and staying at the hotel. So he has his meeting with the consulate on the 4th of April to hopefully get his visa, in which case he'll come out there. He wants to interview winners and judges, but he's all excited about the contest and trying to make it more known and available to people in Africa, throughout Africa.
Anywhere you can get it, it's a good place. I mean,
Yeah.
we put it everywhere we
You
can.
know what that reminds me of, John? Is have you ever told him the story about Chris Harris and what happened at the consulate for him?
Yeah, we mentioned it before, but you can go ahead and tell that story again.
It's such a fun story. Okay, so our very first Costa Rican winner ever was all nervous. He hadn't been out of the country before, and I sent him a letter, saying, to whom it may concern, blah, blah, blah. It's so that he can take it to the consulate to get his visa to come to the United States, right? He walks up to the counter, and the person goes, "Oh, I know this contest." Boom, gives him an instant stamp.
Yeah, well, y'all getting around now. These people know you on that these days.
That's
Well, one of the things we talk about when we're interviewing different winners, especially after the event, we ask them how is this going to affect you, maybe getting a job or getting your artwork looked at or getting your when you send a book in somewhere. I mean, I know there's a lot of self-publishing now, but still, I know a lot of these people's goals are still to get in with a big publishing company.
Sure.
What do you mean, Jack? Anybody can submit a book to a publishing company. Doesn't mean they're even going to read it, but you can submit it. Yeah. Along with the other
anymore it's pretty much these the big five. You're going to need to have an agent, somebody's going to represent you. And I just interviewed yesterday. Jonathan Merck is his name. He's got one of the Fortune 500 top growing businesses in the United States the last couple of years, and he was the top 2 publishers in the last 3 years. He's gotten that award, and he said the main thing right now with traditional publishing is that you've got to have your own platform. You need to show that you can actually contribute to the sales with your actions. You either got your Facebook and followers, or you've got X or Instagram or TikTok or a podcast or something that you're going to be able to bring to the party. And then with that, they're having an agent who can then take all that stuff and present it to an author, and even then, to a publisher. And even then, once you actually get it to the publisher, you're talking about 1 year to 2 years before you're going to see the light of day on your book cover. And so there's so many more options right now with hybrid publishing, with self-publishing, where you can make yourself. You need to be able to work and do these things here, but that's. If you self-publish, you can get something up in a couple of months, provided you don't scrimp on the shrimp there. You don't bypass the editorial process. You need to have a good cover. You need to have a properly typeset book. All these things make a difference and create a good book that people will actually read. A poorly typeset book turns people off. It's hard on the eyes.
Right.
No cover, bad cover. It's like, what's this? It looks cheap. And so if that's all you think of your book, then why should I think any more of it? So all kinds of stuff like that. And if you got typos and it's improperly, grammar's not correct in there, then again, if you don't care enough about your book to make sure that's in there, why should I? So those are all kinds of things that if you get a publisher will help you with, but you can actually do it as well if you just know to do these steps. And we've covered that extensively over the years on the Rise to Feature podcast, and the free online workshop that you can get at writerstofuture.com also covers a lot of these points on putting together and submitting at least a short story.
People, if you haven't ever won anything, or you're not really a pro at publishing, go over there. Not publishing, at writing. Everything you need is right there in that workshop. Everything you could possibly think of is right there.
Yeah.
To really get you off and get you going. And it may be what gets you over the top to get you into Writers of the Future.
In fact, you know what? I have just this year, one of our first place winners, was not placing at all in the contest. Like he'd get rejection, like just flat out, no thanks, keep writing. He did the workshop. He immediately started getting honorable mentions, whatever, and now he was a first place winner this year. That's how good this course is.
Yeah.
It really does make a difference. You should really get over there and check it out.
Yep.
I mean, if you're a fairly decent writer and you're just looking for those extra little put you over the top things, I think you're going to find them right there. The videos are great as well too. So, well, you'll have a good idea when you finish and you write the story at the end. You'll have a pretty good idea of what you've got out of it.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way, guys. I'm not even an author, and I got a good bit out. There was things I just didn't understand about writing that actually helped me get past.
Wow,
things
great.
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure it's things for a regular author. They'd be like, "Joe, what are you, an idiot?" But still, for me, they were so complicated. It's just stuff I didn't understand how to proceed and directions and certain things, and it's just like when we were talking about the hook at the beginning of the book. I remember when was a dean that told me start from put the ending first, and for some things that would probably work pretty well, some things probably not, but still, it was a good idea for what I'm thinking about. I can't say it's a good idea for everybody, but for what I'm thinking about, it actually will probably work. Jesse, no, this is the woman you want to hear from. If you've entered this contact and she's calling you, well, things are looking better anyway.
Yeah, and right now the current quarter is open until the end of March, so you still have, today being the 22nd, you still have 9 days to submit to get your story in. This is the second quarter of year 42 that we're in right now. Yep. So the thing on it is like, don't wait until the end of the fourth quarter to submit. You submit now. Get your story written and submit now, and you'll hear within just usually about a month after the end of the quarter is you'll start getting the results. Right. So the end of March. So then the end of April, beginning of May is when.
No, June. If a person when it's ending in March, they'll have results from that quarter, the March 31st quarter, in late June, mid to late June. That's when you'll have results.
There you go.
Yeah.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
There we go.
Hey, don't let him talk to you like that, girl. You need to bust him up. I know you know where he lives. It's what's that, Gene? They're a big family down there. Is what they really are. They all work.
Us?
Huh? Us. Yeah, y'all. Yeah. No, I've seen them all on both sides of what they do over there, and some of the other stuff that they got going on too. Well, not everything I see I'm allowed to discuss. So sorry, guys, but they are like one big family. You can tell because they put up with me. So I'm constantly aggravating. What are you talking about? You heard me talking about Malivia earlier. I'll be just walking around behind her going, "Hey, Malivia, how you doing? What you doing, Malivia? You got a cookie, Malivia?" She's going to smack me. But she's not the dangerous one. Sarah's the dangerous one. But yeah, see, the only way you're going to get to know any of this stuff, people, is if you win and get to come. Yes. That's right. And you'll get to meet all of these people. You'll realize, God, Jeff, these people are so nice. Why are you talking about them like that?
Sarah's at a military base today.
Oh, Jesus. That's what
she's at Fort Irwin, which is
God,
in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Josh should not let her go to military base. Her head will get like this. She'd be like,
she sells so many books when she goes to those military bases.
I bet she does. The little fiery little thing that she is.
Yeah.
Girl's a salesman and a half, or saleswoman and a half. I don't be discriminating here, but she's like a whirlwind when she gets started. Yeah, you remember them tops back in the day? You just pull it with the string and let it go. That's Sarah, man. She's like, that's one of the things I like about her. I'm like, damn, girl, sit still for a second. I'm good. Oh man, but she is a lot.
And we find Joe just sitting there like doing nothing, and then she says, "Joe, get over here. I need you to do this." Okay, now Joe, well, that's not okay. Get over here and do this. And he's trying to run and hide, and she finds him.
Don't have empty hands when you're around Sarah. She will put your butt to work. She's a sweetie by her. She really is. She's a lot of fun to mess with.
Yeah, that's great.
And, no, everybody is hard working. Everybody's, but like I said, y'all going to get to see things. So you'll get to see the gala events. It'll be broadcast over a lot of different venues, so you'll be able to catch it that way. And then, of course, there are a couple of things that we record during the process of the week that will probably get broadcasted at a certain time. Like when they do the reveal, we usually record it. It'll end up on one of the websites. Not the night of, probably within the week though. It'll be up there, so you'll be able. And there's a couple other things besides that, but all the stuff that goes on in the daytime we don't record. It's not stuff you'll ever get to see unless you get to go. There's no interviews we record, but nothing else. No. So because I go sit in the classes with them a lot just to watch and get pictures and stuff and listen, but there's no recordings going on there. We're just taking pictures of people. Yeah. Well, it's good to see the expressions on their face when they say something dumb. You get some good shots. Yeah, did you see that? Yeah, that was good. No, it's a lot of fun.
And then this year we're pulling the art reveal forward a day, so that the writers and the illustrators can meet each other almost at the beginning of the week. So there's no more like trying to hide the book from the writers until they actually see the art for their stories. So after the first day, when the illustrators are there, then we all have the big art reveal this year. So it's a day earlier, so that, that's just, you've been there several times, and it's just such a special event. It is.
It's a really big event. And that stuff that we go through, we're recording the whole time, because it's hard to put into words if you can't actually see what's going on, because these people are meeting each other, they're seeing their artwork that goes along with their books. It's and it's so cool to watch, the person who did the art and the person who wrote the book get together, and the person who wrote the book is like, wow, this really fits my book. It's a great thing to say. It's a lot of fun. There's lots of tears, by the way, people. I just thought I'd tell you that. If you're offended by tears, don't watch. But other than that, no, it's not live though.
Tears of joy, yes, and some yelling and like, oh my God, it's perfect. A lot of that, yeah.
But no, Frankie, we don't carry the event live. No, it's a recorded event. Well, I go through and edit stuff out of it and stuff, sometimes.
But we will air it live as it's happening on the 10th of April. You'll be seeing it as it happens.
The big gala, yes.
So yeah. Well, no, the gala, y'all get to watch everything that goes on at the gala. And actually, the gala is interesting because periodically through the day, when we're walking around, milling around with press and doing interviews, a lot of that's live. So y'all will see a lot of that because it's connected to either my pad up there, you see her up there hiding, or my phone. So it's actually broadcasting the whole time. Yeah, as long as I made friends with the bartender, so I can keep my phone plugged in behind that bar. And because I was going through battery time, like boom, boom. I was just going through it. And because it would stay and running, and anywhere I went, the phone was on. It was recording the whole entire time. And then if I was sitting down talking with people, it was running and recording. And all of it was live. So I think one piece ended up being, I want to say, almost 4 hours of just live. All of it was, none of it was the gala. It was all just milling around before and after the event. It's they do more book signings after the event.
Right.
So all the books I got are like double signed. You got all kinds of weird stuff. Y'all are never getting anything. Don't even bother asking.
Afterwards, what I love is afterwards that the artists get to show their art. They all bring their portfolio, so that when people are walking through the line to get their book signed, because a lot of the people attending the event buy the book, right? And then they want to get it signed by all the winners. And it's fun because we have them all on this big long table, and then everybody signs the book. The person with the book goes along the row of winners, and they talk to the winners. They look at their art. They'll talk to the guys, and the writers will explain like a little synopsis of their story for the person, and this gives the guests a chance to also like just chat for a few minutes with the winners, which is also very, very endearing. It's some wonderful stuff happens there. Yeah, it's special.
It is very special. All of it really is. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that's really special, and there's a lot of things you get on. And then you get, if you're lucky, y'all get to go get a tour of Author Services, which is worth the tour. There's a lot of stuff in there. So really pretty building inside. A lot of things to look at. No touching allowed. I don't know how you people. I just got in trouble in Phoenix for touching stuff. I'm a grown ass man. I got
that down, Joe. Put that down, Joe.
Put that down. Oh man. You gotta be careful. I can't have people like touching stuff.
Artifacts, man. They're artifacts.
Oh, I know. She's like,
You can't be
okay,
touching the artifacts.
you don't have to hurt me. I'll put it down. Oh man, well, no people. Well, this is was it one of L. Ron Hubbard's homes in Phoenix, is where we were.
Yeah.
I was out visiting with John and Emily. No, we were just walking around chit chatting. No, they were showing me the place, and I was touching stuff. That's why, because Chelsea lets me touch stuff. You see, that's the difference. See, Chelsea's spoiled. That's why she's my favorite.
That's so funny.
It's what's that, Steve? No, you see, yeah, we know who all these people are. When you can come out and find out who they all are. Yeah. All of them are really nice people. All of them are. So far, I haven't met any of them I don't like. I'm sure some of them don't like me, but I haven't met any I don't like.
Well, I haven't heard of anyone that doesn't like you, Joe.
Oh, I'm a pain in the
Anyway.
ass.
I've heard of so many people. My gosh.
It's
Just go on the chat anytime he's on the show. Just
oh,
check the
geez,
chat.
that's different. Them people are nuts.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, guys, I'm glad John brought that up. We will be on the chat later in about an hour and a half. We have Jim Meskimen coming up with us in about 15 minutes. And what's that, Carly? No, Joni's she just runs this place, man.
What are we talking about?
They were just asking me what you did. I was just thinking
I run the contest. I what I do is I administer when the people enter, and like I make sure that they get a response. I make sure that that the judges I select the judges who are going to judge for the quarter. I mean, there's so much else that happens with this, in relation to the entire big picture. But as far as the core of the contest and people entering and that process and the judging process and the notification of winners process and all that, that's what I do. John and Emily, they're dealing with the PR aspects and all the social media and the media.
John and I just walk around and eat. That's what we do. But
no, you don't. You guys are much busier than that. But you
can find us. Oh man, no, I mean really, it is funny, but sometimes it's hard to find anybody. It's because we all got different things going on, taking advantage of different times. We got a little bit of downtime. You might want to squeeze in an interview or two. But see, this way we're doing it right now. So everybody's already been interviewed, except I think Carmen told me it was short one before we even get started. So I've been picking and choosing who I really want to talk to the most. So I'll schedule. That'll probably be the first. It's either 6 or 8, and we'll go from there. And those are very chatty individuals. And I was telling this to John. So far, this group may be the chattiest group y'all have had since I've known y'all.
Awesome. That's great. They're a great group. I'm really excited to meet them all in person.
Them too. They're very, very. Let's talk. I was like, cool. And in the last 3 shows, they all stayed for the whole show. Because we're doing 4 guests a show when we're doing them, and it's
nice.
It's a different way of doing it. But also it gives them another introduction to each other too, which is kind of
exactly. That's really important. That's so good. I'm glad you're doing that.
Oh yeah, Carmen sets it all up, but John and I just come here and act like we know what we're doing and stuff. That's what we get paid for, Keith. Yes,
the big bucks.
How much are you going to send us, Keith? Yeah, you send us a check for $5 million. John and I will mention your name many times. Yeah, many, many, many times. Yes, I'm telling you, everywhere I go, I'll mention your name for the next 5 years. Whatever. Look, people, y'all left over from last night. That's what's going on here. We starting getting the crowd that's just waking up from last night. Is that what's going on? Oh man. So we were having a great show last night, John. I mean, it was a great show. News, right on money. Everything's going good. One of my directors stopped by from iCar and mentioned a personal experience of his, and that's next hour and 40 minutes of the show.
Wow.
I was like, Mike got so mad. He said, I'm out of here. I can't take it anymore. So we'll be playing a little. No, the reason I brought that up, Keith, is because we'll be playing a little bit of catch up tonight on politics in the first part of the chat. So we just got some things we got to talk about. No, we don't talk about that stuff on the show. Sorry, we just don't. It's just one of them things. We don't talk about it on Wednesdays either. So just on late night on Friday night when the children are asleep and the adults are drunk, that's when we talk about it. Yes. No, I can't invite Joni on there. She might hurt somebody. Them boys are too crazy for her. She'd be like, y'all better calm down. She don't want all that chaos around her. Actually, it's been really good. Like, I mean, so if you're looking at on a Saturday now, say, so John's 2, she's 5, we're 2, 5. So that's 6. And then the chat last week was 4, 7. That's 11 plus Michael's about 5. 11.5 million people today is going to hear us. And the best part for this show and for John's show isn't even for Echo Show. They'll get mentioned in the next show. Because I always talk about, like these shows, I always plug these at night and on News and Flip Side. And then we start over here in the daytime, and then we broadcast it all day. That's it gets crazy. It really does. What is it, Jennifer? It's writersofthefuture.com, yes. GalaxyBest.com if you want to buy something. Writersofthefuture.com if you just...
To enter the contest or to do the workshop, yeah.
Yes, the workshop and all the rules you need to know there. Everything that they require is there. Just read it and go. Well, again, if John gave me $1 for every time I said this, I could have retired like 4 years ago. If you don't submit, you can't win. Just
Pretty simple.
I'm not submitting because Emily will just laugh if I submit something. She'll really joke. Keep that shit out.
No, not at all.
I can't. She's a sweetheart, but no, I can't. I'm not an author. I'm not an illustrator. I do what I do for a living because I like doing what I do for a living. And I'm hoping all these winners eventually get to that point where they like what they do for a living. John likes what he does for a living. Joni likes what she does. It's always, look, having a job you enjoy doing is always much better than having one you don't.
That's
Fact.
right.
That is a fact.
Absolutely.
It'll make you. It'll add years to your life, people. It'll actually add more than just years. It'll keep you healthier looking.
That's right.
Yes, I'm 90, so look how good I look for 90. Jesus, people, y'all wish I looked like this at 90. I've seen that. It's writersofthefuture.com, but just go over there. They don't never tell me what hotel we're at. Now they're scared I might tell y'all, so I'm not allowed to know. You don't believe me? I'm being serious. It's no certain secrets I'm not allowed to know because I might tell y'all. Mm-hmm. Just how it is, you gotta have some secrets, people. Come on.
The only thing he can tell you is this is the book that's coming out. You can pre-order it right now on Amazon.com. It's an amazing book. I'm about 30 the way through now doing quality control on the audiobook. And it's amazing. Just the quality of the storytelling. This is so good. The next guest coming on is one of the main narrators for this, which we'll be talking about, Jim Meskimen. And it's but the book is amazing. And I'm always amazed. The thing that amazes me the most, I've been doing this since volume 2, and it's each year when the new stories come out, it's like, how'd they think that? They're not even new tropes, but it's just a new take on the new a fresh approach to some of these standard tropes of science fiction and fantasy that they just like amaze me. And same thing happened again this year. So like, how'd they think that? And like, there's 2 stories here about AI, but there's also an L. Ron Hubbard story that he wrote in 1950. That's also AI. You kind of look and go, geez, that he was so far ahead of the curve on that with what he was doing.
A lot of stuff. He was far ahead on a lot of things.
Yeah.
The more of his stuff I've read or listened to, the more I realize. It's like, well, what am I at now? I'm book 9 of Mission Earth. And
oh my God! Right? Oh wow!
And I'm not book, but I'm listening to it actually.
I get you. Well, that's good.
And for how long, John? For like a year now. And anytime I get free time, though, I turn it on and listen to it. And I've really enjoyed it. I mean, somebody asked me the other day about buying the books. I said, well, yeah, I'd go buy them. I said, but eventually I'll put the audiobook out. It'll be worth getting. I said, you can't sit down and listen to it all at one time. I mean, you could, but you shouldn't. I've enjoyed the way I've been listening to. I listen to some of them on the way to work. I've actually had to go back a couple of times to refresh my brain on a couple of things just to make sure I was remembering correctly. But sure. I've enjoyed it. And Jeffrey, if I had to pick up the slowest book, would have been book 1. After that, it's pretty And book one's good. I don't want to
Yeah,
take.
when you get done, go back to book one and do it again. You might have a change of heart on it.
Yeah.
Just-
Oh no, I liked book one. It's how can I say this, John?
There's a lot. No, there's a lot of setup in there.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're building the characters is what they're doing.
Book.
So
Yeah.
so that's pretty much what it is character building. So and you got to have that to know who the characters are because it's important. Trust me. Down the line, you need to know who these characters are. But anyway, it's worth the read. I've enjoyed listening to it, and I want to finish it before I come see John. That way, I can sit down when I'm up there and talk to him. Maybe we'll do an interview while I'm up there on it. But I just finished 41 the other day. I'm getting ready to start it again because I pretty much completely forgot everything I read. So we're gonna do it again, and then I'll read it on the airplane out to see y'all. So I'll catch it and I'll catch it, read it out there. It's what's that, Jeffrey? It's book 41. Yeah, you order it now. Well, you can order it anywhere. I always tell you go to galaxypress.com, but you can order it anywhere. You can go to Amazon, Books and Me. It doesn't matter. They're everywhere. So it's not hard. Type in Ron Hubbard, Writers of the Future, book 41.
Volume.
Just volume 41.
Volume 41. It'll come right up.
But you can just type in Writers of the Future and they'll all come up just like that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're easy to find. It's not like you got to go dig 5 million places to find them.
But we do ask also you to pre-order the book and just, you've heard over the last several weeks the different writers and artists talking about what they contributed to it. But realize these really are the best new talents of science fiction and fantasy writing and illustration that's out there each year that you get with Writers of the Future. And so when you pre-order and the book releases, you're helping to make them the next, best-selling authors, because when, within the number of pre-orders we're going to have there in the book ships out there, they'll be on the top of the bestseller list, which is a really cool thing to help launch these careers, because it's for them to be able to put onto their resume, yeah, I'm a best-selling author, is really important. There's over 3 million books published a year. So to be able to have something that will actually get you to stand out above anybody else is really important. That's one big thing that Writers of the Future is very much able to do. So please, support these new writers and if you like science fiction and fantasy, this is the best new science fiction and fantasy out there.
Yeah, there's some great spots, and all the ones I think I'm through. To these 6, I don't know, 12, 14 of them now. I have to count them. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 16 or 18. I think I've been through them now. And because I had bought, I got a set earlier that were was it in the 30s or the 20s? It was 8 of them or 10 of them, and then I got one of those sets that Viva sent me, and then the ones I get from y'all every year. So it's like 16 or 18 I've been through. I don't think I've even looked any further than that back to go see. What am I?
Is Jim? Does he have the link, Jim Meskimen, to join us?
I'm sending it to him right now.
Okay, good.
The who's who people. You people drive me crazy.
Who do?
No, the who people. The who's who group. Have you? Anyway, I have to tell you about them when we went out on air. They're a elite snobby group that wants you to join. They always bug me about every couple of years. I get this letter like, "Would you like to join us and be part of the elite?" I said, "When I get that kind of money, we'll discuss that." I mean, come on, you can't be elite. You got to have a couple $100 million to be elite. It's why is it not giving me his? What's going on? Let's try this again, because apparently I'm going blind in my old age. Okay. Why is it not giving me his all right, that ain't cool. Sometimes these computers get a little weird. So it's okay, here we go. Is this it? There we go. I forget when Carmen, if Carmen messages me on my email before I open it to get the thing out of it, it folds it into one email with the last message first.
Yeah.
And if I'm not paying attention, I'm like, where the hell did the email go? Okay, he should have that. That's good right there. No, the whole thing's going to be live. Everything's going to be live. Yes. So Joni looking good. She's tall, wearing the dresses she wears. Whoo, man. I know. She's a looker. What can I tell y'all? They're all good look. The whole bunch of them are good looking. I ain't met no ugly people over there yet. Well, maybe one, but we're not going to mention his name, but still. No, I'm just kidding. This is a good looking bunch. You're talking about Carmen. No, Carmen's just tall. That's all. I told him I'm going to buy a papoose so he can carry me around this year. The guy's like, what, 6'5" or something? He's pretty tall. I told him I went to the whatchamacallit wedding last year, and I said, Carmen, get a crick looking up at you, man. Sit down or something. He's interesting. I like talking to him. We talk a lot about a lot of stupid stuff. Anytime he calls to tell me about guests and things like that, or who's coming on. Oh, Jimmy, I'm glad you brought that up. So we will be doing a show. It probably won't be for 2 weeks. You're talking about the JFK document. It'll be at least 2 weeks yet. There's too much stuff to sort through. Actually, we've got 2 different groups sorting ourselves, but from all the stuff I've seen, it's going to be probably 2-3 weeks before we do a show on it. What do you mean? Am I thinking we're going to find something? I have no idea. I'm not that big of a conspiracist when it comes to that to start off with. So, we'll see. We'll see. It's like I said, 2 or 3 weeks. It'll be in there. All that stuff is coming up on shows in the future. Yeah, all of it is. But I see we have Jim Meskimen downstairs, so let me drag him up in there. Jim, how you doing, man?
Hey, Jim.
Hi. How's it going?
Oh, he's in the sound room. I'm like, man, first I thought you was in like some 2001 Space Odyssey room, man.
I'm floating in the atmosphere above Venus right now.
Oh, so when I first seen it, I thought something weird like that. So, how have you been lately? You been good?
I've been very well, thank you. Yeah.
Yes. So wait, what have you been working? It's ladies and gentlemen, Jim Meskimen. In case I didn't actually say anything when I was bringing him in, what are you working on right now? Because you're a busy person.
I'm a busy person. I'm working on getting a screenplay done. I've been working a lot in video games. We are on strike with many of the video game producers, but there are video games that are in production that have signed an interim agreement, so I'm working with those. And I am going to go back and work on a show called Landman again, which I was on in season 1. They got a season 2, and so I'll be working on that again as an actor. I'm playing the family attorney in the show. And I don't know, animation.
You just like this. Well, no, I can understand.
Audiobooks, a lot of audiobooks. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
in fact,
you do great audiobooks. I've
thank
heard a
you.
couple.
And we completed. My family and I completed the audiobook for Writers of the Future, Volume 41, not too long ago, and that'll be.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. Yeah.
That's right. I'm about a third of the way through on the quality control of it right now. I'll be going back onto that when we're done here.
Yes, I can't wait to hear it. And I prefer audiobooks because it's easier for me. It's and so far everything I've heard you do has been really good. And you know, plus you do some great impersonations. So it's I don't know. I really just enjoyed them. Wait, which one was I going to ask you about? Damn it! See, getting old bite sometimes. There was a particular thing I wanted to ask you about, a particular book, and it went right out of my head. And we were just talking about it not too long ago.
What's been your favorite project with doing the various voices?
With in the history of my life, or
in the history
Galaxy?
of your life, since you were born, since you came out of your mother's womb, what's been your favorite?
Wow, I mean, I feel very lucky. I've been able to be part of some fantastic projects.
I know,
and brilliant writers.
This Land, that was so much fun.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Jib Jab stuff. Yeah, I got in on that really early. I used to do those when they did that every year, the year-end wrap-up, a year in review, and animated shows. And working for Galaxy, though, I have to say, is a real highlight. Got to do all of direct and act in over 500 hours of L. Ron Hubbard's published fiction, which was just great. I mean, I think most people like my age who are interested in voice work, people that I've met, actors who are like, God, they hearken back and they dream about what got them excited about voice acting, which generally speaking is the old days of radio that don't exist anymore. People in a room bringing things to life, very full-blooded sort of stories with broad characters and a lot of action, and a lot of romance. And that hasn't existed for a long, long time. But when we picked up these books from these novels and novellas from the 30s and 40s by L. Ron Hubbard, and we needed actors, boy, people were just falling all over themselves to be part of it because it was just so fun. And it was like, well, this is what you get into this business to do, things like this,
Yeah.
play villains and heroes and crazy ancillary characters and really tell a ripping yarn. So that'll be a highlight for me from now on. I don't think anything's going to really be able to beat that.
But now in terms of like right now, what people will recognize you for, because we've got, you've done the Colonel Sanders, you've done the George Washington Crossing, you've done various things.
The Delaware Expressway. Yeah, I mean, people know me. Actually, mostly they know me from an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air that I did in 1994, where I played Will Smith's teacher. I get recognized from that physically most often. I do the Robin Williams Blue Genie. I'm wearing my Blue Genie shirt. It's the Blue Genie Blue. For Disney, I've done that for quite some time. For games and things. And I've been on Legend of Korra and Avatar: The Last Airbender and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I play Ultron for quite a few Marvel projects. I've done that for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, I think, maybe more. I don't know, people know me from a lot of different things. A lot of people know me from my social media stuff where my daughter comes up and kind of ambushes me and says, "Hey, Dad, what does, like this morning, before I'd even had a chance to wake up or brush my hair, she said, 'Hey, Dad, what would Gregory Peck say about having a morning coffee or something?'" And so I had to oblige. And it's nothing I ever shirk from because, frankly, it's her job. So
I remember when you
know me from wherever.
You were on, was it Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent, where you were a finalist on that?
America.
Yeah.
2013, I was doing impressions on America's Got Talent, and I went to Radio City Music Hall. An interesting experience.
No doubt it was.
Yeah. I wouldn't advise anyone to do it, but I'm glad I got through it.
Yeah.
It was fun to perform for a big house, 6,000 people. That was a lot of fun, and national TV. That was a fun challenge. Yeah, I need to find more things like that.
I'm sorry, everyone. I have to go now. I have another thing I have to do right now. But
yes, we know you're busy. We're just glad you sat down and stayed still for an hour. So
yes, I was able to do that. Believe it or not.
A whole hour.
That's what I'm saying. That's like a record, man.
It is a record. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. See you.
I love you, Joni.
Bye.
Joni Labaqui, ladies and gentlemen. She's just going. She's the coordinating director for Writers of the Future. I'm sure to check her out. No, you'll hear from her a couple of times during the event. I usually corner her when I can. It's like 10 minutes, but usually I'll catch her doing something. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So somebody had sent me a video, which I have not seen. They had sent me a video about you, something about going viral. Man, what did I do with it? Because I didn't know you were going to be a guest until yesterday. I was like, damn.
It was the one that did. I mean, there's been multiple ones. There was the one that was the Shakespeare. You did that. This was like 5 years ago for Clarence's.
That was actually about almost 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
That was like your first viral video, I think.
It was one that I did myself that went viral. I've been involved in other people's videos, like you said, the Jib Jab guys. They had viral videos too, massively. But this was the first one I had that took off. Shakespeare and Celebrity Voices. How long ago was 2011? It's almost 15 years ago. Yeah. So good long time ago. But it's sort of that sort of moved me into another category. And it
'Cause you
got
were
me a
on
lot
I
of
remember seeing you in a talk show after that too, talking about that.
yeah, the Australian Today show. I went down to Australia and they interviewed me, and that was a lot of fun. I did a gig down there. I've been to Australia a few times working, and it's a great place to
Oh
go.
yeah, the Aussies are great.
But since that time in modern social media, Instagram and TikTok, I've had quite a few viral hits, almost one or two a month for a good long while. And you never know. I mean, that's why we just continue to make little videos and put them up, because you never know what's going to appeal to people. And
See,
people
that's where I see you from time to time. We have 3 different TikTok accounts over there, actually 4.
Mhm.
And every now and then I'll see one of your videos come across. I think it's one of my radio station pages, and they're always hilariously funny. It's
Thank you.
well, and they get shared because I share out stuff. Anybody I've interviewed, when their stuff comes across one of my pages, I share it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, because the other day, it was a couple months ago, I was setting up a video because my Chihuahua has her own page, little popular little brat that she is.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the dog's got more followers than I do. I said, this is embarrassing, man. I mean, come on. And but anyway, I seen you come across it, and I was thinking, man, it looked like that video had done really well that day. Because TikTok, for some reason, you don't always see how many shares that go out. I don't know why. At least on my pages, sometimes it'll have me a list over here, how many comments, how many likes, how many shares. This thing looked like it had gone out to a lot of people, looking more like 6 digits at least. And I was like, damn. I said, what's in here? I got to go look and see what it is.
Well, I know you had that one thing, Jim, with I know that your
That's
daughter
good.
came up with Biden, and that was obviously
funny.
that was last fall.
Right.
And then what else has there been any more current stuff that's had that same type of virality as that one was?
Yeah, like I said, John, every month we've had at least one. So yeah, I think the last one, I can look it up here. I don't really remember, but
Well, I know somebody sent me. That's the one they had sent me, a deeper look into a life of an impressionist.
yeah, that was another little later on viral hit. Yeah. Let's see here.
It took me a minute for it to register in my head.
Yeah.
Do you have ones you can pull up and play here?
I might. You know what? The one I just mentioned, I've just seen it. So give me a second. Where am I? In the grand scheme of the universe? Let's see. Share screen. Will they give it to me?
Dad, do an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger telling
That
us
sounds good.
to eat for breakfast.
For a long time I didn't eat any breakfast. I went right to the gym and worked out, but now what I like to have, I go out in the backyard and they get a live squirrel.
So that was one. Arnold eating a live squirrel, and then there was another one.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, Dad. Do an impression of George W. Bush telling us his favorite thing about spring. Hey, Dad.
Sorry, this is really low tech. Anyway, George W. Bush. I'm holding my phone up to the freaking microphone. I'm sure there's we're on StreamYard. I'm sure there's a way to share your screen.
Oh yeah, there is.
It's just fun to communicate with people. I make friends all over the world. I worked on a film in Malta last year in November, and I flew out to Malta, and I arrived around midnight. I was going to baggage claim, and they had a little van going to the baggage claim area. And as I'm stepping on a van, there's this nice older gentleman who says, "Do I know you from TikTok?" He was a Maltese guy who was retired, but he'd been a real estate fellow. I owned a bunch of real estate agencies, and we became friends. And it's only because he's been following me on TikTok for months and months. I met him and his wife. We went out for a lovely little cruise in the harbor. I mean, it's just really sweet to make friends in advance of your arrival to a foreign country. It's like having a PR man out there doing the stump on the stump for you.
It's I always tell people, because I travel a lot myself, and I'm always telling people you should always find a local to be your guide anywhere you go, because a lot of people come to New Orleans and they visit, and I said, look, if you're coming down here, let me know, and I'll either take you out myself or I'll show you somebody, because it's a great city, it's a fun city, but it has its places where you shouldn't wonder unless somebody knows what they're doing. But anywhere, anytime I've been to 40, 45, 46 countries and 44 states. And almost every time I find somebody local, and I like making friends. So, I'll make friends with somebody in an airplane, at the airport. I might be chatting online somewhere and make friends. Wait, what is this one? This one is the one. I wasn't going to pull this one up, but it popped on the screen. Oh, this is the one with the. What's this one about? Oh, it's self-explanatory.
Well, why don't you play it?
That's what I was getting ready to say. It's self-explanatory is what I said. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is.
I'm Jim Meskimen, and I wrote a poem about what it feels like to be an impressionist. Is anything more sad and lame, contemptible, beneath disdain, in short, provoking of disgust, than being an impressionist? A third-rate, even fourth-rate skill. The definition of cheap thrill. Like watching farm equipment rust is watching an impressionist. Relic from a distant day that long since should have died away, dishonorably mentioned is the pitiful impressionist. Weird and slightly ostentatious, tired debris from old Las Vegas, whose former fans have long dismissed allegiance to impressionists. How many opportunities passed up and wasted because he's hell-bound to follow what he must? Pity the poor impressionist, doomed to live in abject failure, dogged by his own echolalia. Better to crumble into dust than wind up an impressionist. His borrowed voices can't deflect a life of well-deserved neglect. His name's on simply no one's lips. Forgotten, vain impressionist. That sound, did anybody moan? That creature with the microphone is last on everybody's list. Forgettable impressionist. When Peter at that shiny gate condemns those souls who imitate, he will but shake a heavenly fist and curse condemned impressionists. But till that time, we'll tolerate the good-for-nothing reprobate and hide the truth that we're just pissed that we can't be impressionists. Oh. That's better.
Now, how many damn voices did you do there? I should say impressions. How many impressions did you do there? Because I lost count.
I don't remember.
There was a lot. I was counting. I'm like, Jesus, we're over 20, and I think we were only a minute into.
Probably around 22, 24, something like that.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was interesting. Early AI face swapping stuff. A guy named Shamuk from England. He contacted me, and we collaborated on a few things together. That was I think a very satisfying one.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was. Wait, I just had another one somewhere. What did I do with it? Oh,
so just before you put that up, Joe. So it's 3:30. I need to sign off here now because I've got another thing I've got to do right now. But it looks like I just potentially got my keynote speaker for Writers of the Future Gala. So I'm very excited. That text just came in. She's the first woman to pilot a commercial spacecraft. But what's really great is that she's not only a doctor, a PhD, but she's also a poet and an artist, as well as an astronaut and interested. So anyway, I'm going to provide all the data so we can invite her because that'd be really good to have hers. Anyway, very good seeing you again, Jim. I was with Jim just a few days ago recording the podcast, which is going to go up when we publish the book, which will be a lot of fun. And I had a great interview with our fourth man out on that one there the next day after our interview.
Kirby Hayborn?
Kirby Hayborn, yes. Anyway, so very good seeing you again. And Joe, we'll be in touch a bit later then. Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Goodwin, Galaxy Press. Y'all should know him. He's a regular. He hosts with me every week. We're going to play this one in a minute, Jim. I got one post here. Let me show you which one it is. And I don't know. I think I found one of your pages now, so we can go through a couple of them if you want.
Okay. Sure.
So this looks like you published this just recently.
Yeah, we do one every day.
Oh, do you? Well, that's cool.
Yeah, the celebrity fortune cookie is one we've done every day for years and years, and we had pick a cookie, spin the wheel, and we got a lot of people watching it every day.
Well, that's it. Stuff like that's fun. I mean, in today's world, we need some fun, we need some laughter, need something other than the world's ending. And I get tired of hearing that after a while. I was like, friend of mine said, "It don't bother you." I said, "No, I just go vent on the weekend if it does."
Right.
I got a couple of shows where I can go get angry if I need to. So let's see, where do we go with this? We got it up there queued up. Let's go find out where we were. And bloop.
All right, let's get going. You've got a fortune that needs to be read, and here is David Newman. Yes, all right, very, very good. David Newman is one of the most understated. He really was the Colin Firth of his time, don't you think? David Newman, like, rather hard for me to pull them apart, except that he's slightly more tinny, slightly more higher vibration than Colin Firth. Your success will be a beacon of light. There you go. That's sort of a fortune. Your success will be a beacon of light. So you're going to have a success, first of all. If you haven't had one recently, you're about to have one. It's imminent. And it will act as to others as a beacon of light. Beware, because more people will notice you since you've had a success, but that's no reason to dim your light or put it under a bushel, as the Bible says. So anyway, enjoy it. Enjoy your success. Enjoy your beacon. Enjoy your light. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey there, thanks for watching.
Oh, wait, we got another one came up.
Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. We've
got
new videos every day, and we hope to keep in touch with you.
That was, for some reason, that image of you looked like Picard. I don't know what that was about. That was weird.
I don't know what that's about. That's just crazy.
Yes, well, we know you can do an outstanding impression. I've heard it a couple of times.
Thank you.
It's good. It's good. No, Jamie. Wait, what was I going to ask you? Did you do some of the voices on Mission Earth?
I did, in fact. I did the main narrator voice,
I was just making sure. I'm sorry.
And I directed the project.
I thought we had talked about this once, and I said I'm getting old. I better ask again so I'm on book 9 right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you've heard a lot of me.
Yes, I have.
I'm no longer the narrator in book 9. By book 9, you have a new narrator takes over the story. Ralph.
It's definitely a different story. So, developing the characters in the first one takes a little bit of time, but it was a great job. The whole thing, I mean, the voices are great, the sound effects are great. It's been a long time since I've actually listened to what I would consider old school radio, and that's what I was kind of considering this. And I actually enjoyed it when I was a kid.
Sure.
My grandpa, my dad was born in 1911, and my grandpa was born in 1922. So they were raised they were kind of raised on it. So when we were kids, they preferred to listen to that than to watch TV, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's funny to think of radio coming in as it did. I guess it really gained prominence in the 20s. And for those people in the United States and in the world at that time, it was this brand new technology. It would be like the internet, just getting people together in a whole new way, in a magical way.
I know growing up as a kid, I enjoyed it. I used to listen, and every now and then I'll catch something. There's a radio station that NBC owns down here. And sometimes they'll get on a kick and they'll do old school radio.
Right.
They'll do it for like a couple of months, and it's all, some of it's campy soap opera, some of it's goofy sci-fi. I mean, it's just all kind of mixed meshed stuff, but it's nice to listen to. And I think for me, more importantly, because I'm involved with so much stuff, it's how can I say this? It's exciting, entertaining, and PG. And what I mean by that is just no nastiness.
It's not perverse.
That's a good way of looking at it. I mean, it really isn't. So, I'm listening to different things. I mean, when you listen to something like Mission Earth, obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. There's a lot of Jesus. I mean, I forgot how long this thing is, but there's a lot of stuff in there. I started listening to it last year.
Yeah.
So John said, "Look, we got it out. You're going to listen to it?" I said, "Sure." So I started listening to it, and I got through book 4, and then I had to stop and go back to book 1. Something about the evil guy. We're not going to. I love this guy, by the way. Y'all do a great job with this character.
Yeah.
People go get the book and read. You know what? I gave away last year. I gave away 150 Mission Earth books.
No kidding.
But what Jim and I are talking about is the audio book.
Right. The Writers of the Future #41 that's coming up.
Yes, the audiobooks are great, guys. Well, no, of course I've got a paperback copy. They send me one every year to read before I come down here to do interviews. See, it's right here. See book 41. There it is.
There it is. There it is. Yeah.
There it is right there.
Yeah, and for the last 3 years, they've had myself, my wife, and my daughter as narrators because we're all actors, and my daughter's a very successful audiobook narrator, Taylor Meskimen. She's done hundreds of books, and we love this contest. We love the Writers of the Future contest.
Yeah, it's great,
and we know all the people. Know John and Joni and everybody, and so it's. We really kind of lobbied to get the job because they didn't have an audiobook version of it for years and years. The anthology was always just a paperback book, which is great. And that's the best way that it's meant to be read. But these days, people are on the move. They're busy. They don't have time to hold a book and sit down in one place and take their eyes off the road, whatever. So, we like the audio experience a lot, and if you have someone that's a very good storyteller, and especially these smaller stories, which are, they're small bites. They're often only maybe 20 minutes long, and they're very easy to consume and digest. They're just fantastic, and I don't know. We had a great time doing it.
It sounds like it. I mean, it kind of comes through in the book itself. It's I enjoyed it. It's much easier for me. I wish they would let y'all do it before the event. That way I'd have a copy of it before we got in, because I actually have to take time to read. And when I was younger, it was easier for me to sit down and read. Today, there's always something else going on. So
yeah, right. Well, as you heard, John is in the middle of doing quality control on the recordings right now. So they went a little. We produced them a little earlier this year than we did last year. So
that's what he's telling me.
Closer and closer to being ready. Sooner.
Well, I mean, I know there's things y'all got to wait on, but the books come out really good, and I tell people all the time, because most of my friends are driving or going somewhere or traveling, and a lot of their jobs require them to be on the road a lot. And when I spend a lot of time in airplanes, it's good to have an audiobook, because really and truly, I don't have to have the bulky book in my lap. I can pop my phone on the little clipboard, stick it in my ear, and a lot of times I have my wireless earbuds with me. I'll just listen to it, fall asleep, wake up, still listening to it, and I enjoy it. It actually seems to retain more of it in my head too, for some reason.
Interesting.
I would think reading it would retain more for me, but I guess the audio, because I've been gotten such used to it over the last decade or so that it's easier. But I'll tell you this: I remember when audiobooks first came out, we had to listen to Microsoft Sam. Jesus. Lucky Audiobooks ever made it after that. That voice was horrible. It was I think it was artificially generated. It was whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was one of them things you could turn on your computer and say, read this page to me, and it'd start reading. Oh no. And then they got an Australian female version. It was still horrible. It was just horrible. Jackie, you can't get Mission Earth yet. You can get the book, but you can't get the audiobook yet. John, I forgot when he told me it was coming out. I'd have to double check. It may be out, but I thought he told me it wasn't out yet.
No, it's not out yet, but soon. But you can get last year's.
Yes. Well, we're talking about Mission Earth. We're talking about
Mission Earth. Yeah, no, Mission Earth. I don't know when that's coming out. Boy, they've been threatening to release it for quite some time. Yeah. I look forward to that.
It's a great story. It's a lot of fun. What got me about Mission Earth was Elon hit a lot of things that seem to be moving and shaking in our world today, which is 60 years later, 50 years later. It's a good.
Not quite 50.
Okay, so it's been a while.
25. Yeah. 20.
So it's pretty good. I mean, a lot of the satire is good. I mean, there's a lot of political stuff in there that's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, no, it's all just as pertinent today as it was back then. He talks about public relations things and the things that governments do and media companies do, and it's all. I think an audience is even better prepared for what Hubbard writes about in Mission Earth today than they were in 1984 or whenever.
I would agree. It's more sophisticated.
It's almost like a time bomb. It's ready to go off now, because we think about all this stuff that's going on with. I don't know. I don't want to get into specifics, but just all the things that are in the news today are all, they're so peculiar and so dramatic. And they're not really too much different than the things that were going on back in the 80s, but they're just a different flavor. And Hubbard had a way of finding the fundamentals of these things. And he explains, I mean, the book is a satire, and satire has as part of its mission, if you will, to instruct people, to kind of teach them something a little bit better by making fun of something. And so he explains things like public relations and drugs and political maneuverings and all these things in a way that is very even keeled. It's not slanted in any direction, but it just allows a public person to kind of go, oh, I always wondered about that, you know, and you can have a recognition of the truth.
No, I enjoy. I mean, I didn't know when I first got involved. I had heard about L. Ron Hubbard. I didn't know that much about him. And then one of John's people sent me over a pad with all of his work in it, all of his fiction, nonfiction. I mean, fiction works.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, a lot of it was written, but a lot of it was audio. So I started listening to the audio, reading when I could, when I had a chance. And then I realized that a lot of his stuff was really translated well today. I mean, a lot of it in a lot of different ways too. It just, I was surprised, and I was surprised about some of his sci-fi because I'm a big sci-fi fan anyway. So it was nice to see someone writing decent sci-fi even back then.
Yeah,
but like
you probably know he'd been an experienced author before the dawn of modern science fiction, and then he was specifically recruited to create a more humanistic sort of science fiction by John W. Campbell, because his stories were always about people and adventures and real emotions and, you know, real human relationships, and that was lacking in the science fiction genre. So he brought to it that very important factor, which I think is what we enjoy about Star Trek and Star Wars and you know, future things that came out from that tradition.
Yeah, well, I know I was surprised how much of it I enjoyed. I really was. And it's just, of course, I like surprises because, you know, usually when I'm looking for a good surprise, it turns out to be something other. But in this case, it was a good one. And, you know, it's like Battlefield Earth. So I was talking to a friend of mine just the other day about this. He said, well, I didn't like the movie. I said, well, I wasn't the hugest fan of the movie myself, but the book is actually really good. But
book is sensational, and we did an audiobook version, which I don't know if you heard that, but that is terrific. That's a really, we won an audio award for some aspects of it, and it's a hell of a good audiobook. Now, Joe, I have to ask you, you got the all I see now is the Thundercats emblem.
What happened there? Sorry, I must. Sorry, I must have hit. Yeah,
you went into the cat's lair there for a while.
And you know what? That Thundercat's one of my co-hosts. So Rad, I keep telling him to stop sticking it on my thing. Hey, Sean, hey, Kayla.
Do you know my relationship to Thundercats?
What you got? No, tell me about it. Because when I was a kid, I watched. Matter of fact, I used to let my kids watch Thundercats.
Well, when I was 24, I worked for Rankin Bass on a new show that they were developing, and I was a character designer. I became the senior character designer for this show, Thundercats. And I designed all the secondary characters. The main heroes and mutants and stuff were already established, but they had lots of other monsters and animals and weapons and ships, and I designed them all.
Damn, really? That's a lot. That was a lot in that show. I mean, there was a lot in that little TV.
Not kidding. Yeah, no, I think we did 120 episodes or more.
Yeah, the guy who posted, he's a big fan. I mean, but I grew up with it. My son, you know, watched them. He used to make me. We'd get up and watch Thundercats and then watch Transformers. And I was like, oh, and then some other show where there was ships in outer space, but I can't remember the damn name of it, but it was a cool series too. But nowadays I don't get time to watch anything unless it's 3:00 in the morning. It's like last night when I get off. We wrapped up on our political show last night at 1 a.m. So it usually takes me 2 or 3 hours to unwind from it because it's insanity. The show following this one is called The Chat, so it's a listener-based show. They control the topics. Jesus, dude, it gets insane. It just, and right now with the current environments we have politically and on world affairs, it gets insane. No, Jeffrey, we don't talk about this in the show. Sorry, dude. No. If you want to hear politics, news, and flip sides on 3.5 hours on Friday night, they get in depth and they do politics from a political point of view, not from an opinion point of view, so it's different. And they do have a satire part of the show, and because you know, some of the shit's too funny not to have satire. I'm sorry. It's just some stuff out there that is too much for me. But anyway, y'all can always check that out. But the Author Quill is to meet people like Jim, someone who's respected in their fields, someone who's been involved with Writers of the Futures and stuff like that, because we do a lot of stuff with Writers of the Future. How did you meet him originally? How did you get involved with Writers of the Future? I guess is what I should ask.
Well, I met them. I was in New York, and I was an actor, and in my 20s, and they were starting to promote Mission Earth as when the books were going to come out. And I was involved with an improv theater, and we had a lot of actors that were willing to do, kind of stunty sort of things out on the streets. And they were doing quite a bit of promotion of Mission Earth using the characters just to let people know, just kind of make some noise about the book and the characters and so forth. So I got hired early on to portray a character who I would later voice in the audiobook 20-something years later, Sultan Grease. And I was on some talk shows and helped them promote things. And then when I moved to LA, they were doing weekly live readings, and kind of like in that old radio format. And I volunteered, my wife, and we all got involved, our whole family did, because it was fun to, actors are looking for places to perform and looking for good material, good scripts, and good characters. And so these guys had it. Author Services had all of the above, all the boxes were checked off.
They're a fun group to work with too. I enjoy
really
it. Yeah. It's I remember when it was about 7 years ago when one of them contacted me, I was kind of like, "Who are you?" And then one of my the person who was running the station at the time, when Elron's name, "Oh, you can't have them on." I'm like, "Why?" And then they gave me a bunch of BS. And then John contacted me. And John's, a nice, reasonable guy. And I'm talking to John. So you're a nice guy, but I don't believe you. And he's like, "What do you mean you don't believe me?" I said, "You're full of shit, man. Nobody does what you're saying. Nobody's flying people out to LA. We're not having blind judge. I'm like, get out of here." I said, "Stop trying to snow me, man. I know you need press for your organization. Just stop." And I mean, Jim, I feel bad, man. For a year, for a whole year. So finally he calls me up one day. He says, "Bleep, bleep, bleep, come out to LA and find out for yourself." I said, "I'm only coming if I get unfeathered access to everyone."
Did you say unfeathered? Unfeathered?
I said, that's just how I said it.
No
like
feathers.
Pluck your feathers off. Yeah, just how I said it. Because I was so frustrated with him.
Yeah.
And he goes, all right. He says, "I know what you mean." I said, "I know you know what I mean." So I get out there, everyone I talk to, every question I asked, and I was rude a couple of times. They answered them.
I can't believe that.
Yes. Well, I mean, they were great. They answered every question. They gave me total access to the judges, to the winners, to the staff, and I did. I talked to everybody at Author Services, everybody with Galaxy Press, every winner, every judge, back as far as I could get, and they all told me the same thing. So I was like, well, and to be frank with you, it caught me off guard. I was expecting to find some, some stuff. That's what I was expecting. Yeah. And I got out there, and they turned out to be exactly, they are blind judge. The contest is exactly what they said it is. The gala is great. Yeah. They told me how they bring the guests out, what they do for them, what they don't do for them. Everything they told me was exactly, and so I asked the different winners, the different judges, did it bother you about anything? Did it bug you? Nope. Whatever we want to do. And I'm like, so since then I've been pushing them. I do a lot of lectures at colleges and stuff. So when I'm in schools, I'll push them. It's gotten weird now because sometimes when I'm doing lectures now, at the end of the lecture, I always do a Q&A, usually 30 minutes, 45-minute Q&A on whatever subject I'm talking about. Now, at least every lecture, someone asks me about Writers of the Future now. This this English teacher at Tulane, English professor, I'm sorry, at Tulane. He would have got upset if he'd heard me say that.
English coach.
Yeah, I know.
He'd have you unfeathered.
He goes, well, them people, they're just, they're just scam. I said, no, they're not actually. And I got into the whole spiel and hit the whole, there was 2 classes in there, and I was talking, and the guy's like, well, are you telling the truth? I said, yeah. I said, I'll put my company's reputation on exactly everything I said is exactly what goes on out there.
Yeah.
So then the whole class got interested. They started asking questions. So I finally just started giving out websites. I said, writerfuture.com, galaxypress.com, go check it out for yourself. I said, I wasn't here to actually talk about that today, people. So I said, does anyone want to ask me a question about the lecture? house.
Yeah, I've known about the contest from the beginning. I was in New York, and I think they had either the first or the second award ceremony. I was there. It was at the UN, and it was just a fledgling kind of contest. It was just beginning. This was 41 years ago or 40 years ago, and it just had such a. I knew, because I knew the people, that it was going to be, that it was on the up and up. It was legitimate completely. But I couldn't have foreseen how popular it would get, and how people respond to having a contest like that. If you give authors or people that want to be writers or want to be creators, you give them some sort of a channel to put their creations on, to be read and to be looked at by other professionals and by an audience, they will just take advantage of it. They love to. We're in the communication business as artists. We want to reach other people. And it has really taken over. I mean, and now it's considered, one of the great places to find new talent. Now, all these decades later, some of the greatest people in fantasy and science fiction, some of the most best-selling authors that exist today, got their start in Writers of the Future. It's very common.
Kayla, they're not big horror fans over there. They're mostly fantasy and sci-fi. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, Hubbard set it up specifically as a science fiction and fantasy contest, and although there are elements of horror that can infect those areas, and then there's the Illustrators of the Future contest, which started a little bit later, and that has really grown in leaps and bounds. I remember some of the first winners. I was kind of like, I'm an artist myself, and I'm like, yeah, all right, these guys they're gifted amateurs, But now, when you see the portfolio of these winners, I'm sure you've seen them. Oh, yeah. They're astonishing. They're like, they blow anything I could have done back in my Thundercats days completely out of the water.
Well, we bring them on, and then we put their websites up, like what I do when we have these up. It'll just sit there, and as we're going through it, I'll be flipping through their website while they're talking and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that way they can just tell us what they saw, what it was about, what inspired them to do this. I know we've got a couple of goofy things coming up. I've been talking John into, we're going to do a Stickman contest, because so many of us that are not part of, not authors or illustrators can't write or draw. So I said, look, I can't even draw a straight Stickman. We're going to see who can draw the worst Stickman. Maybe we'll do something for charity.
You should have that sponsored by a local lumberyard.
Yeah, no, because it's going to be horrible. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a horrible pictures, people. No, we'll probably do something like that. And then we got a contest where we're working on with 3 winners and 3 professionals, a dragon contest. I got a friend of mine who does a lot of stuff with St. Jude. And he said, you think you can do it? I said, if it's all going to charity, yeah. I said, if anybody's going to get money, no. I said, sorry. Right. I said, it's not something I can get involved in if I'm going to be giving people money. I said, the way my company's set up, it wouldn't work for me. But I said, if you're going to give it to charity, yeah, we can do something like that. I'm all for giving St. Jude money. We're gonna just up here, Jackie. We're gonna play this clip in a minute. I know, ladies and gentlemen, for the people who started watching us tonight on Fire Stick, welcome to the network. All you people over there on Amazon, everybody on Roku television, I know y'all are watching this. I can see how many people are over there right now, so I want to thank all of you hanging out. No, Jim's got his own website. It's jimmeskimen.com, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I wanted to extend to your viewers, anybody that's interested. I did a live show of my impressions I have a live show called Jimpressions, and I did a show last year at the Gary Marshall Theater in Burbank, and it was partly to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Happy Days, which of course was Gary Marshall's show, and also was my mom's show. My mom is Marion Ross, who played Mrs. C on Happy Days.
Oh, is she? Okay, well, she was a cool character.
Thank you. I think so too. And so any of your listeners that are interested in seeing that show, if you go to jimmeskimen.com, which you have on my window there, jimmeskimen.com, and send me go to the contact form, send me an email saying, please send me a link to the Jimpression show, or send me a link to your show. I'll be happy to send them a free link. No charge. It's about an hour and a half. It's a really fun show. A lot of impressions, music, stories, games, and I think they'll enjoy it a lot.
Well, go check it out, people. Oh, and I know we got all you new people on Rumble tonight. We got those 2 Rumble pages over there. It's welcome Rumble, yeah, and I've been quite surprised with Rumble. I got to say, we had to add Rumble because YouTube has gotten so restrictive on some topics that
Oh, really?
yeah, they just I don't know, they just overly protective on some stuff. So I try to avoid it. You know, I have a network that actually hacks off a lot of people because it's we have no religious. Everybody here has a different religion. I mean, there's 40 live hosts with I think probably representing about 14 religions. We represent pretty much every American politics. Plus, we have a lot of Canadians and Europeans on the network. So, I mean, the political views here range from way liberal to way conservative to everything in between. And so it makes for interesting shows. I'm not going to lie. And most of us are friends, so nobody gets too upset. But still, it can make for some heated programs, is all I can say. Lord. Depending on whatever side you may happen to be on, people, it can make for heated shows. Do you do any political satire? Are you that brave, or?
It's not my interest really. I've done, of course, the presidents and stuff, but I don't keep up on it. It's not my main thing.
Oh, I don't blame you because it's
it's not
politics
my
can be disastrous to someone's career. It's not like the old days where you could just say stuff and people say, "Oh, okay." Today you say something, people want to hold a grudge for 10 years.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not picking sides, Christopher. No, it doesn't matter what side you're on. It seems to work for both sides or all three sides. I don't know. Yeah, three-sided wagon. There you go. Figure that one out. No, we're going to play this one more clip because we get ready to get out of here in a few minutes, but I wanted to give y'all one more clip with Jim because Jim is great. This looks like something.
This is don't play this one, Jim.
Oh, don't play this. Okay,
this is another live broadcast. You want to play?
All right,
something?
we won't put that one. We'll get something else, but no, I'm gonna post these links on the website in a few minutes so y'all can go over there and pop it off from there. It's going to be on all the YouTube and Rumble pages. We've already posted on those pages, so just scroll and you'll see it there. It's not a big deal to find it. It's also real. His name is real easy to remember, so be sure to go check it out that way. You just heard the man say he's married with children.
Yeah. Well, I have a child. I have a wonderful.
Well, that's why I got one. You know, it's funny. I told my wife I want it when I'm married. So I want one kid. I want more than one kid. I want one kid.
Wow,
and I got one 39-year-old son who's a pain in the ass. I love him to death. Don't get me wrong. But still, actually, so Karina, I'm sorry. Karina's asking where she can go. Is there a place where you can go just to see a bunch of your impressions?
Yeah,
go
to YouTube.
Like a list.
YouTube. A list? Go to my website, jimmeskimen.com, and just scout around there. There's a list. I do celebrity impression messages for people, and there's a list on that little section. Celebrity Jimpressions, it's called. Yeah.
That's okay. When the next Picard series comes out, he's going to be the guy playing Picard, man.
Well,
I'm sorry,
your voice to the network planner's ears, indeed. Yes.
You got a good look. You got his voice down perfect. Who you don't know who Patrick Stewart is? Picard from Star Trek. You know what Star Trek is, right? Yeah, you know you've heard of. I don't know what to tell you. You're living on a different planet than the rest of us. Even people who don't watch Star Trek know who Picard is. I don't know what to tell you. Denise says, do you do any Discovery? You mean Discovery, Star Trek Discovery impersonations? I don't know. Who the hell would you impersonate on there?
Boy, that's not a show I've really watched a lot of.
Don't. You'll be wasting your time. Oh, did I say that out loud? Damn. I wouldn't know who you could impersonate on there. I mean, there's not that many great characters.
Well, what I do is I watch TV and I watch movies, and there are people that I just adore, and I feel like I want to figure out how to sound like them and act like them, and that's generally how I. But I these days I tell you I watch probably less TV nowadays than I did at any other time in my life, except for when I was in New York. I watch an awful lot of the social media stuff. I watch things in little bits and bytes, and it's funny. It's how I kind of like consuming things like that.
Yeah, that's most of us these days. I'm the same way. I got my different pages set up for different things, and then I got preferences on each page, and I just start flip.
Yeah.
It's also ways I keep up on the news without having to hear 500 hours of whininess. I just get the story, and that's all I'm interested in is the story.
I hear you.
And it's not just news. I mean, we do a lot of other stuff, but I want to hear what I want to hear. I don't need all that crying for 5 hours just to tell me for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Jackie, no, we don't talk about that here. You can come on the chat and ask that question though in about an hour. Yeah, you can come ask Jay. Jay will love to talk about that. He's nuts.
Well, Joe, I've just about run out of time here myself.
Yeah, we're getting ready to run you out of here right now because it's top of the hour. So, and one more time, give me your links and whatever else you're going to be doing, and I'll let you get out of here.
Yeah, on Instagram at Jimpressions, and happy to extend a free link to my one-man show at jimmeskimen.com. Just go there and write me an email. Say, hey, Jim, send me a link to your show. No charge. It's an hour and a half. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. And follow me on YouTube, too. I got a lot of stuff every day. We do have those celebrity fortune cookies and lots of other fun stuff.
Get out there and check him out, guys, because everything I've heard from him so far has been hilarious. He seems to have a good grasp on what he's talking about. And because you do stuff. How can I say this real quick? So I won't drag this on. But anyway, you manage to do stuff, current stuff, and sound current. I don't know how to explain it. It's not coming out right. Anyway, when I think of a way to say it, I'll send it to you.
It's all right. Okay. I know your heart's in the right place, Joe. I know you're trying. That's all right. God bless you. I'll see you again.
Okay.
All right.
Go out, get the books,
everybody.
guys. Get out there. Jim, thanks for hanging out. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to go. Chat's coming up now. I got to get out of here. Remember, there's 4 hosts coming up next. Yeah, so catch them out in a little while. Tell everybody I said I love them. Give them hugs. Diana, nice to meet you. Kayla, nice to meet you. And everybody new coming in. I always like going on in this show, but the fun show is going to starts in 30 minutes. It's called The Chat. It's an open format show. It's listener driven show. Our listeners tell us what they want to talk about. There's usually about 4.5 million people listening, so it's usually an interesting conversation. We've got a little bit of politics in the beginning show stuff we didn't finish up on last night's show, but that's it. And then we're just into the show stuff. On that note, I want to thank everyone again for tuning in to United Public Radio and the Authors Quill. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Any moans, groans, bitches, complaints, or gripes, please write to Michelle DeRoche. Courtesy of Michelle DeRoche. Good evening, everyone.